We are going to talk about Rebekah. We're going to see what we can learn from Rebekah, how we can imitate her, while how she walked with God, how we can benefit from her fine example, and we are going to see how we can apply that example in our lives. Good day, good afternoon, good night, wherever you guys are. Welcome to another live stream. I appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate all the questions that you guys ask, and I could have never asked for a better crew than the crew that I have right here. Welcome again, and please remember, bring your pen, bring your paper, tell a friend, tell a family member so they can benefit. Hi Gemma, it's been a long time. How are you? It's nice having you here. I really appreciate you guys being here. I couldn't have done it without you all. It's rumbling because it's about to rain. The thunder in the background is giving. There's no lighting right now, but earlier there was lightning. So for now, we're gonna take it one step and we're gonna get into the discussion. I didn't put a theme scripture. I totally forget when the live stream is ended. I will put a theme scripture. I know I can go in the studio right now and make the changes, but after the live stream ended, I will do that. We're gonna look at Rebekah. What can we learn from Rebekah? Her example, walking with God. I'm gonna give you a little insight about who Rebekah is. I'm gonna show you how God looked at Rebekah, how outstanding she is, and what we can learn from her outstanding character. We're also going to look at 2 Timothy chapter 3, reading from verse 1 and 3. We are going to see how we are going to benefit from what is happening around us in the last days that we're living in. But before I give you some information about that scripture, let's learn about Rebekah. Hello, welcome. Nice having you here. Is it what? Sing? Hi, Sing. Welcome. Nice having you here. We're learning about Rebekah. We're going to see how we can benefit from her fine example, walking with God, and see how we too can apply those examples in our life so we can benefit. We can try our best to imitate from it. Hello again. Hi, welcome back. Nice having you here. Amazing. It's nice having you here. Welcome. So, Rebekah, who is she? She's a humble girl that lives on a beautiful farm, and she is what we call down to earth. Is not really down to earth. Listen to how she is down to earth. So Rebekah is a girl like this. She likes to do house chores, like what we call today, but in the country area we call it housework. Yeah, or they would call her country bunking or country girl, or if you live in an area where it is a village, you could call her village girl, whichever name you want to give her. But she was very humble. Rebekah approached the well carrying a large jar. As the evening darker, but not too dark where she don't know where she's going, she went to fetch water for her household because it is getting late and the house needs some water before nightfall. She does this on a regular basis. It's her daily labor for her to go to the well, fetch some water, and bring it back to the house so the house can have water supply. If you live in a village or a country area where water is limited, you will understand the scenario that I'm sharing. you will know what it's like to carry water from one direction to the other direction. So she was doing this on a regular basis. But she also take note of the surrounding where she lives. She realized that she sees some men with camels and they were standing near the well. But she didn't pay them any mind. She still went to the spring, fill her water, and while she was leaving, an elderly man said to her, "Please, give me a little sip of water from your jar." She did not say, "No, get away from me. I am not giving that to you." No, you know what she did? She said, "Of course. Come, have some water." So she showed some hospitality. She fed each and every one of them. So she gave the elderly some water, and then she said to the elderly man, "I can also feed your camels," and gave them some water. She said, to show respect to the elderly, she said, "Drink, my lord." And she take the jar from off her head and give them some water to drink. In return, she fed 10 camels with water, and she go back and forth to make sure each and every one of them has water. Then the elderly man asked her, "Whose daughter are you? What's the name of your family?" Right? So Rebekah said, "Well, my name is Rebekah, and this is my family." And the gentleman said, "So my animals need a place to stay for the night, and so do I. Where can I go?" And she said, "I know exactly where you can go." And she showed hospitality. But what she didn't know, that God was assisting her while she was lending to the elderly. After a few moments, we learn how God assisted. We learn about Abraham and Sarah. These men were Abraham and Sarah's servants. They went to seek someone with a kind heart to assist their son Isaac. And in return, this wonderful young lady was the one that God has chosen to assist Isaac. And it was God's blessing, because the elderly man said, "God, please, if this is the right young lady for Isaac, please let her show me some hospitality. Let her be kind and gentle to me." And that is exactly what Rebekah did. But we are living in the last days. And in the last days, it means that critical time hard to deal with. We cannot do that like this scenario that I just shared with you in these last days. Why? Because people change. People are not as genuine as they appear to be. Their demeanor is not as how it appears before you. You and I don't know what is going on inside their head or their heart. But at the same time, we can rely on Jehovah for guidance. 2 Timothy chapter 3, reading from verse 1 and verse 3 said. Verse 1 said, "But know this, that in the last days, critical time hard to deal with will be here." So the scripture reminds us that in today's world, we are going to experience some things that is very difficult for us to maneuver, for us to handle. Things is going to be more difficult than it used to be back in the days. Verse 3 said, "Men, women, they will have no natural affection. They will not open to any agreement. They will be slanderers. They will operate selfishly because they don't have any self-control. They will look fierce And this is the reason they have no form of love or goodness. Hi. Hi, Annika. Nice to meet you. Welcome. So you see what days we are living in? Rebecca was living in the time where love and respect was outstanding, where peace was dwelling among men. But we are living in a time where things are difficult. We do not have any natural affection. We are not open to any agreement. We do not know how to respect people, so we slander them. And we don't have any self control. If you look around us, you can see what I'm talking about. When I say we, I'm not pointing any finger at anyone. So everybody is a part of the we. Here's the next thing. When you look at the face of these people, they have this fierce thing about them that drive fear in your heart. And the Bible said it is because they are without love, or they are without any goodness. So that's what we are learning from 2 Timothy chapter 3, reading verse 1 and 3. Rebecca was so outstanding. Her example set a fine way for us to imitate. She has an outstanding way. I don't know if you guys notice what kind of outstanding way she has. Who understand what I am saying? She has something outstanding about her, and it was well seen. Yes, yes, Emma. Yes, she was very courageous. She had courage. Her courage was outstanding. In these last days that we're living in, we need courage, we need boldness, we need faith, we need strength. All of these things we need in order for us to have success. In Rebecca time, all she needed was courage and faith. But me and you need whole heap more. We also need prayer. Our prayer work along with courage, faith, and strength. But very soon, Rebecca is going to learn that she has to travel to a different country. Yes, she has to go to support Abraham and Isaac, because this is what God have in store for her. So when you are on God's mission and what God have in store for you, don't dismiss it because you don't know the outcome of the situation. And don't give up because it seems like it's difficult and there is no way out. Let's look at how God blessed Rebecca. Rebecca is gonna go on a mission. Her mission is to go and marry to Isaac. Yes. In turn, God is going to bless him. First, God blessed the servant that spoke to Rebecca. When God blessed him, they realized that it was God who was leading them in the right path. But when we look at how Rebecca's courage is outstanding, we can learn how we can always rely on God. Let's see how it goes. What would Rebecca do when Abraham and Isaac met with her? She had a choice to make, so she made a choice. The next morning, the servant said, "Can I leave with Rebecca right away?" Rebecca's family decided to ask Rebecca herself about what she had decided. She gave his simple answer. She said, "I am willing to go." She was willing to leave and start a new life. She was willing to work in harmony with the arrangement that was set for her to work with. And this was the way God wants us to do. When He gave us an assignment, we should be willingly to carry out that assignment. We shouldn't be like Jonah. But nonetheless, Jonah example was for those, or for us, I should say, that if we decided not to carry out the assignment that is given from God to us, we know the consequences of not being willing. So we can also learn that Rebekah was willing to go. She was willing to leave her home and the family to start a new life. The reason? It was the courage that she had. Why? Because she seems to know exactly that God was with her. After she traveled back to her newfound life, she get to come to meet Abraham and Isaac. When she learned who Isaac is, she humbly accept and acknowledge Isaac as her husband. Yes, she did. At that time, when we talk about Isaac, Abraham, remember we talk about after a while Sarah lived a wonderful life and then Sarah passed away. That Sarah is Isaac's mom. So after a while, Rebekah learned that Isaac's mom passed away. So she provided comfort for Isaac. And the kind of comfort that she provided, it makes her outstanding, not just in the eyes of Abraham and Isaac, but outstanding in God's eyes. Can we imitate her? Can we show that we are allowing God to lead us, to make good decisions, to take us into this one direction to the other direction, meaning that to start a new life? Things may not go the way we want it, but what lies ahead, we are unaware of it. But with God's help, we can have sure success. Let me give you a little bit about how the marriage went on. Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, the daughter of Bartholomew. And you see how God can arrange your marriage. If He's a part of it, if you allow Him to be a part of it, you will have a successful marriage. God will allow you to marry to the one that is going to care for you for the rest of your life. But you have to allow God to lead you and to help you to make those choices. Now listen to this one. Genesis chapter 24 verse said, Genesis chapter 24 verse 12 said, Then he said to God, the master of my God Abraham. No, I didn't read that good. Let me go again. Then he said, Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, please grant me success this day and show me your loyal love to my master Abraham. So this is a prayer that the servants of Abraham prayed to God to guide him and to direct him to choose someone that is loyal and outstanding for Isaac. Now, when you and I are praying for things, some of us get impatient because it doesn't happen immediately or it doesn't work out for us immediately. But what we need to understand, that patience is required on our part for us to have success. And I'm going to use that as an example to show you guys how it works. First, you're going to need some courage to talk about what you're going through, and you're going to share it with God. Then, after you share it with Him, you're going to search His Word, the Bible, to find answers to what you're asking for, right? You're going to pray about what you're asking for, because that is how you're going to communicate with God. Then, the faith that you have, you're going to build it up stronger. And faith, that you're going to put into what you're requesting from God has to be extremely strong. When you're pouring out what you're pouring out, it should be from deep within your heart. You should tell God what is going on so He can respond to how He is going to bless you. And that is what Abraham's servant did. He asked God at Genesis chapter 24 and verse 12 for his assistance. He said, please help me so I make a right choice. Whoever feed me, whoever gave me some water to drink, that is the one that you choose for my master Abraham. Genesis chapter 24 verse 2 and 3 said, Abraham said to his servant, the oldest one of his household, who was managing all he had, please put your hand on my hand, and I will make you swear by God, the God of the heavens and the God of the earth, that you will take a wife for my son from the daughters, that you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I am dwelling. So this was the promise that the servant made with Abraham. So his son should not marry a Canaanite, but should marry somewhere far. I remember this growing up as a young girl. My father used to say to me, listen, if you want to get married, go out of your community and find someone from a different community to marry to. Don't choose anyone from the community that you're living in. Choose someone from a different community. And if you really want to get married, choose someone from a different country, so you know that you will not be able to marry to a brother or a sister. And this is where I am going to leave you guys. When God is directing you and leading you and helping you to make good decisions, please remember, He is the one that knows everything about you and me before we were being born to our parents. He is the one who knows what choices we will make. He is the one should guide us to make the choices that we make. If we are not allowing Him to help us to make these choices, then we will not get good blessing. But when we imitate Rebekah walking with God, we will get good blessing just like Rebekah get good blessing. 2 Timothy chapter 3, reading verse 1 and 3. That is our theme scripture. We are living in the last days. What Rebekah did in the time when things was perfect, it is not the same for the time that we are living in. The last days that we are living in, mankind is not as humble as they used to be back then. They are not as genuine as they used to be back then. So our choices has to be genuine, sure, and outstanding. And if we really want to have success with the choices that we make, we should rely on God to make these decisions. Thank you all for tuning in. The rain is coming down. I really appreciate you all for being here. Thank you to Gemma, Annika, and Bark, and Singh. You all are here again, and I really appreciate you. You were here the last time we talked, and you're here again. The next time, we'll be looking at the final topic. Let me tell you the final topic of walking with God, and then we're going to wait for someone else to share another topic. We're going to look at Joseph. Joseph resists temptation. Can you and I resist temptation? When we are tempted to carry out sin or to do what is bad, Can you and I resist temptation? We will be looking at Joseph. Thank you again, guys. See you in the next one. I hope that you guys will be here to talk about it. Maybe if I prepare on time for tonight for this topic, then we definitely can talk about this topic tomorrow. Looking forward to it. See you guys. Bye. And thank you again. I will see you in the next one. And yes, the rain is coming.